Hello, good evening. This is Kiran Rajagopalan, and I am one of the Bharatanatyam instructors at Nritya Creations Academy of Dance. Please give me a thumbs up or a comment if you can hear and see me at this time. Oh, I see we have some people joining us. We'll just give everybody a few minutes to join. So I hope everybody's doing well this evening, and you had a wonderful Memorial Day and that everybody's safe, healthy, productive, and happy during these difficult times. So on behalf of Nritya Creations Academy of Dance, I wanted to welcome each and every one of you to our community service project, which is brand new, called The Flavors of Nritya Creations. And what Flavors of Nritya Creations is, it's a 6-week dance workshop in which we introduce each of the various dance styles we teach at our institution. And we've been teaching in the New Jersey area for several decades now. And among the styles that you'll see in these free workshops that are around 45 minutes each every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 to 8:15, you'll be seeing Bharatanatyam today with me, semi-classical with some of our instructors, Bollywood, of course, hip-hop, Kathak, a sampling of each of the classical, semi-classical, and Bollywood styles that we teach. And we teach a variety of ages, everyone from preschool to senior citizens. We teach everybody, and we welcome everybody to our various centers. So during this time, we are offering this free service because we wanted to promote community wellness and well-being. And we wanted to show and extend our appreciation of our frontline workers and the stay-at-home community who are all helping this pandemic situation improve by staying indoors, wearing masks, and social distancing. This is key because in order to flatten the curve, we had to continue doing these practices and supporting our essential workers through various endeavors such as, mask making. And in addition, we have to take care of our own personal well-being through fitness, and dance is such a wonderful way to do that. And it's also a great way to just keep your spirits up, to keep your heart rate up, to keep, the endorphins running through your body. All of that are benefits of dance. So what we're going to do today in our 45 minutes together is I'm going to give you just a small sampling of the vastness that Bharatanatyam is. And for those of you who are not familiar with Bharatanatyam, it is the classical dance style of southern India from the state of Tamil Nadu. And it is really rooted in the aesthetic, in the cultural, and in the linguistic traditions of that area. And it is a tradition of dance that first started off in the temples and in the court traditions by hereditary female dancers, and of course and then of course the male teaching and the male musician tradition as well. And over the years, especially in the 20th century, these beautiful styles came together and were reconstructed into Bharatanatyam as we know it today. And what you'll see now is just a small minute or so of me dancing Bharatanatyam, and I want you to look for a few things. The first thing I want you to look for is the way in which we use percussive footwork. Does everybody know what percussive means? So this is sort of an SAT word. So percussive, think of percussion. What do you think of percussion? Drums, right? Da-ga-da-ga-da, da-ga-da-ga-da. So like the drums that you hear in the music, you'll hear our feet following along with the same kind of drum pattern, hence percussive footwork, and we stamp on the ground barefoot. The next thing you'll see a lot of is hand gestures, mudras. And they all can symbolize something special, something that is significant to the song, or they can just be to make the dance and enhance the dance and make it pretty and make it lively, and to give a focal point for the audience. And the final thing that I want you to pay attention to is the way in which the face is used in Bharatanatyam to convey a story and to convey an emotion, to depict a character. All these things are possible in Bharatanatyam. But the one thing I must say about this style of dance that you should always remember is that it's a journey. It takes a long time to master, and you never really master it in one lifetime. You can just spend a whole lifetime just practicing, learning, and the nuances just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So once you start on this journey, it's a long journey ahead. So without further ado, I'm going to present to you a small excerpt of Sri Vignarajam Bhaje. And this is a song in praise of the Hindu deity, Ganesha, who is the remover of obstacles. Just a moment. So as I'm getting ready, a little bit about myself for those of you who are interested. My name, as I said, is Kiran Rajagopalan, and I'm born and brought up in the US, but I lived in India from 2007 to 2014. So I studied dance in both India and in the US for significant periods of time. I did my Arangetram, or my solo dance debut, here in the US with my teacher, Srimati Sujata Srinivasan, and I had other teachers before her as well in Asha Prem, Sri Prasanna Kasturi. Then when I was living in India, I studied with my teacher there. His name is Sri A. Lakshmanaswamy, and Srimati Brigad Bessel for Abhinaya, or facial expression work. So I performed extensively throughout India for about 7 years, and I moved back to New York in 2014 to do my graduate studies at NYU. And now I am a choreographer and educator. I teach in the school systems as a teaching artist on occasion, and I also teach dance at Nritya Creations. So that's a little bit about me. And I am about ready to start. I figured you couldn't see me with the chair in front. Apologies about that. Just a moment.
सुतं तमिह श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे सन्ततमहं नन्ति सुन्दरमुखं मन्तकातकसुतं तमिह श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे श्रीविघ्नराजं भजेऽहं 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 भजे तमिह श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे
Great. Just saying hello to everybody who has joined us. So in that small segment, you got a chance to see sort of some of the facets of Bharatanatyam. One is the footwork. Second is the facial expressions. And the third are the hand gestures. All three are needed together to be able to call a style of dance classical, and also Bharatanatyam in particular. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, whoever is watching, I want everybody to stand up now. We're going to actually now warm up together, and I want to see you all dancing. So make sure that you have a good amount of space. You don't need a whole lot of space, because we're not going to do a lot of very, very far-reaching movements. A good space. Make sure that there's not too much blocking your path. I have one small handicap. I can't raise my hands above my head so easily because my ceiling is low in my basement. But For today, that should be fine. And if you have any trouble hearing me, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be shouting so that you can hear me. Okay. So keeping your feet shoulder width apart, not too wide, not too in, just comfortable. And make sure your feet are pointed forward. So I want you to start by thinking very carefully about your body, because everything in Bharatanatyam is controlled very heavily. So your feet should always be pointing straight. Make a habit of doing that right now. Give yourself a big hug and release. Try and pretend that there's a pencil that you're squeezing in the back of your shoulders like this. Give yourself a big hug again and release. Give yourself a big hug, squeeze, and release. Give yourself a big hug and release. Good. From here, what I want you to do now is to give yourself a big hug again. And I just want you to bend forward and push your butt back. And just relax and come down. Bring your hands to the ground. Wiggle your shoulders. Shake your head, yes. It should be nice and loose like this. Shake your head, no. Slowly roll up. Good. Let's do some shoulder circles, okay? To the front. Hands on your shoulders like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now turn back. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now this is really key. Bharatanatyam requires a lot of strength in the shoulders, because you'll see in just a second why. Keep your hands straight out. Good. Now small circles to the front, just small. 1, 2, 3. Keep your hands straight, don't let them drop. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now a bit bigger, medium-sized circles. 1, 2. Keep those hands up. 3, 4. Feel the burn. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bigger now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now hold it out. 1. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, and relax. Good. Good. Okay. So now that your feet are shoulder width apart like this, see if you can turn your feet out to the side like this. And try to keep your balance. Another key thing is to remember to engage your core muscles, your abs and your stomach, your butt and your hips, to keep yourself balanced. Now see if you can squat like this with your hands out like this. Now hold it here and bounce. 1, 2. Keep your hands straight. Don't let them drop. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now hold, and now just bounce your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and up. Good. Now take a small step in and make it a little bit smaller. See if you can do the same thing now. Bend. Now bounce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and up. Good. One last thing. Step all the way in now, keeping your feet out like this, and see if you can sit in a demi-plie, in a Adamandi stance, as we call it in Bharatanatyam, like this, and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold. Now just the arms. 1, 2. Feel the burn. 3, 4. Push through. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and come up. Good. Shake it out. Shake out your wrists. Shake out your shoulders. Kick out your legs. Good. Feeling a bit warmed up? Good. All right. So now, Standing with your feet shoulder width apart again, firm. Pick up your right leg by your knees and pull it in and hold for 1, 2, and put it down. Lift up the other leg, 1, 2, bring it down. Right side, 1, 2, bring it down. Left, 1, 2, bring it down. Right, 1, 2, bring it down. Left, 1, 2, bring it down. Good. The last warm-up exercise that we're going to do is, they're called hurdle steps. Start towards the back of your room because you're going to want to have some space to come up front. So start to the back like this. Starting with the right leg, keep your hands out like this. Keep it out like this, or keep it on your waist like this. But what you're going to do is lift up the right leg, place it in front of you. Lift up the left leg and place it in front of you. Try to lift the knee as high as you can go. If this is all you can do, perfectly fine. Try and kick it up, place. Kick it up, place. Right, place. Left, place. Good. Now that your right foot, and then bring your right foot to the front again, and left foot. Last one. So now step back with your left. Left to the back. Right to the back. Left to the back. Right to the back. Left to the back. Right. Left. Right. And stop. Good. Grab a drink of water if you need to right now. Give you just a minute or so to take a quick break. Great. Great. So the first thing that we're going to start off with is the Namaskaram. Now the Namaskaram is really, really important because it is what centers us before and after a practice or a performance. So we usually start our practice or a dance class or performance with basically paying our respects to Mother Earth. And the reason why we do that is because the earth is not only, gives bountiful things to all of us, food, air, etc., and nurture, but also we rely upon the ground so much as dancers. The reason why we also dance barefoot. So make sure that you're also standing on a nice hard surface, ideally wood. I have concrete, unfortunately, but a nice hard surface. You don't want to try and dance Bharatanatyam on a carpet. And the reason why is we rely so much upon the vibrations. Whenever we stamp our foot, it brings a vibration in response. And that vibration helps us understand that if we're on the rhythm of the music, if we're doing the step correctly, where our foot is in position, all those things we get from vibration. And of course, since we're banging upon the earth, we want to take her energy, but also give back some positive energy to Mother Earth. So we start off with Namaskaram. And Namaskaram is done in many different ways, but this is the most easy one. So you're going to take your hands with this hasta, this hand gesture. It's like you're making a bunny rabbit. So take these two fingers, pinch them together. And now you're going to bring the hands to chest level here. Good. So now, stamp the right foot. Just pick it up, stamp. Pick up the left foot, stamp. Now you're going to make a thumbs down towards your shoulders like this. Thumbs out with the thumb pointing to the back of the room. Bring them together to the front. Now sit down on your toes. Touch the ground. Touch your eyes. Bring your hands in prayer position. Stand up. And give a bow. That's Namaskaram. So let's do that one more time together. Ready? Hands at the chest in this hasta. Ready? So we have a 4 count in Bharatanatyam which goes dalang, kutakka, dikutakka, dikitatom. So when you hear that, you have 4 counts to just get yourself ready, to prepare yourself. So with kids, if there are any kids out there, if you're doing As soon as you hear dalang, kutakati, kutakatati, kitatom, I expect to see this. Sort of taking like attention, like the military. Dalang, kutakati, kutakatati, kitatom. Right stamp, left stamp. Thumbs down to the shoulders. Out. Bring them to the front. Sit down on your toes, touch the ground. Touch your eyes, bring your hands in prayer position, and up. Give a bow. Good. Now you've taken your first steps as a Bharatanatyam dancer. What next? Now we have to learn the 3 basic positions that are there in Bharatanatyam that are fundamental. They're absolutely incredibly important to our practice. So the first one, which you already know from doing Namaskaram, is with the feet firmly planted on the ground, straight, not apart, not here, not here, not here, like that. Perfectly straight. That's called samam. Can you say samam? The next thing I want you to all do is to say it loudly. Even though we're online, I want to be able to feel your energy from the screen. Say samam loud and proud. Samam. Good. Now the next position is Adamandi, which we've seen also that we just did in our exercise. And this is half sitting. You're going to turn your feet out. Leave about 2 of these fingers apart between your heels, and they're going to be turned out into a wide V, like this. You're going to sit, and your knees are going to spread to the side. Don't worry if you can't sit very, very deep just yet. It takes a lot of practice. This is called Aramandi. Aramandi is, Ara is half in Tamil, and Mandi is position, or where your feet are placed on the ground. Aramandi, half sitting. The next one, which we've also done in the Namaskaram, is called Murumandi, which is sitting on the toes. This is a little bit harder. So with your feet in Aramandi like this, you're going to lift up the toes and sit. And you're going to try and balance on the balls of your feet. You don't sink in. Keep your back straight. And the key here is to use your stomach to hold you up. Squeeze your stomach, squeeze your tummy just a little bit, and come back up. Good. One more time. Sama, feet together. Aravandi, sitting, half sitting. Murumandi, full sitting. And Sama. So let's play a little bit of a game. I do this especially with my younger kids because they seem to like it a lot. So we just take turns playing around with the different positions. So I'll call out either Aramandi, Samam, or Murumandi in no particular order, and you have to do it with me, okay? Samam. Murumandi. Aramandi. Samam. Aramandi. Samam. Murumandi. Samam. Murumandi. Aramandi. Samam. Aramandi. Samam. Murumandi. Aramandi. Samam. Murumandi. Samam. Aramandi. Murumandi. Samam. And as you continue taking classes, it becomes easier and easier and easier. So now that we know the 3 positions, why don't we learn a few steps together? The first one is called Tat Adavu. So in Bharatanatyam, you'll learn a series of different categories of steps. So the first category is called a Tat Adavu. Adavu, the word means it's a dance step. So Adavu is like doing something. So Tat Adavu tells you the name of the step, and it also tells you what it does. Tat in Tamil, now tattirken means I'm going to hit you. This is not a step where you hit somebody, of course, but this is, you're striking the ground. So a tat adavu is a striking of the foot on the ground. And it looks like this. So sitting in, what's this position called? Loud? Aramandi. Good, good, good. Sitting in this position, you're going to lift your right foot off the ground into your thigh here and strike. It's a very specific way to strike the feet, like this. And keep your hands on your waist, like that. So let's try it. And instead of saying just 1, 2, 1, 2, we have special syllables, rhythmic syllables that we use, which mimic the drums that are used to accompany Bharatanatyam called the mridangam. So the mridangam goes ding, da, ta, or ding, da, ta. So we say te, ya, te, ya, te, ya, te, like that. So sitting with your hands on your waist like this, and elbows not in, elbows not on. You're not going to sit like a duck. You're not going to sit like a cow. You're going to sit straight as possible. And you're going to try and tuck your butt in so that it's not sticking out like this. No. Bring it in like this. Good. So let's try stamping now. The next thing you're going to hear are some symbols that I use to keep track of the rhythm and the speed. So it'll look like this. You won't be dancing with your hands out like this. You're going to be dancing with your hands like this. So while you're doing te, ya, te, ya, te, I'll be doing te, ya, te, ya, te, ya, te. Let's try it together, okay? Remember the 4 count? Dalang, utaka di, utaka da di, utaka. Te, ya, te. Te, hands on your waist. Te, ya, te, ya, te. Now, we do not just slow speed in Bharatanatyam, we do middle and fast speed too. So first, second, and third. See if you can follow along. So we just did first speed. Now let's do second speed. A little bit faster. Dalang, utaka di, utaka da di, utaka. Te, ya, te, ya, te. Right stamp, left stamp. Te, ya, te. Third speed now. Ready? Ready to go fast? Dalang, utaka di, utaka da di, utaka. Te, 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 te. See if you can keep up with Mr. Kiran. Te, 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 te. Good. Just a little bit of a challenge. Take a quick water break. I know it's sometimes a little bit hard to dance, to shout, and to try and be clear, and not sound like I'm angry at you. My students always ask me, Mr. Kiran, why do you always drink water in class? It's because it's really hard to have to dance with the students and to say the adavas for them and to say the rhythmic syllables and accompany them. But this is a great way for me to maintain my stamina for performance too. So I make it a habit to not only just teach sitting down, but to also actually dance with my students. Almost all my students have actually seen me dance. Not just adavas in class, but small little things every now and then. And sometimes I share what I'm working on with them too. Ready? So now you have a tat adava. The next category, and there's 8 varieties of them, which you can learn in either, when we start up our classes again in the fall, or if you're interested in doing an online workshop for beginners in Bharatanatyam over the summer, we are planning to launch those classes as well. Now, the next category of steps are called the Nat Adava. Nat Adava. So for those of you who know Tamil, Nat is a strange sounding word because it's the old version of Nita. So if you know what Nita means in Tamil, Kai Nita means to stretch your hand. Nat is the same thing. So Kal Nat means to stretch your leg. So Nat Adava is to stretch your leg to the side or to the front. And what does that look like in Bharatanatyam? It's not just this. No, we have to sit in our Aramandi. We lift it up like a tattadava, and we place the heel to the side like this, right straight to the side. And then we stamp it like a tattadava. So it looks like this. Te, yum, tat, tat. Te, yum, ta, ha. So 1, stamp, 2, stamp. And, of course, we can do it to the front. Te, yum, ta, ta. Te, yum, ta, ha. So let's try that step now in 3 speeds. Hands on your waist. I'm going to use this again. See if you can keep up with Mr. Kiran, okay? Ready? Dalang, kutaka, di kutaka, da, di kutaka. Te, yum, ta, ta. Te, yum, ta, ta. Be careful. Don't just like a shuffle. No, you have to break it apart. Step to the side, stamp. Step to the side, stamp. Ready? One more time. Dalang, utaka, di utaka, da, di utaka. Hey, yum, ta, stamp. Hey, yum, ta, ta. Now some to the front. Hey, yum, ta, ta. Hey, yum, ta, ta. Good. Now let's see if we can put 2 to the side and 2 to the front together. So 2 to the side and 2 to the front. Ready? And we'll try and see if we can increase the speed just a little bit. Okay? Dalang, utaka, di utaka, da, di utaka. Te, yum, ta, ta. Te, yum, ta, ta. Da, te, yum, ta, ta. Te, yum, ta, ta. Very good. We do this step also in 3 speeds. But due to time, let's move on to the next exercise. Now, of course, and if you need some water, please grab some water. Now, let's go into our hand gestures. So, we first saw a couple of hand gestures. This is called Kataka Mukha. And Kataka is a really important one. We use it for a lot of different steps. So Kataka is like 2 bunny rabbits. It's used to show a lot of stuff. This is like putting on a nose ring, putting on earrings, plucking flowers, throwing flowers, smelling all sorts of things. Kataka Mukha. The next one that we've seen in our Namaskaram that we did earlier is called Shikara, which is a thumbs up, Shikara. Again, used to show a lot of stuff. Stirring a pot, pouring water or oil, putting a tilakam, saying good, who are you, why, it's a very versatile thing, columns, wheel, all sorts of things. So we have Kataka, Shikara, and another one that we did was called Pataka, where we touched the ground, now touched our eyes. The thumb is going to come in like this. Pataka. Pataka is really, really useful, and it's used for a lot of stuff. Flag, water, slapping somebody if you're angry, a sword, many things it's used for. So we have Kataka, Shikara, Pataka. Let's do that again. Kataka, Shikara, Pataka. And the last 2 that we're going to look at today, Alapadma. So Alapadma, you sort of use your pinky and the rest of the fingers sort of naturally follow, like that. Again, used for a lot of stuff. Flower, flower blooming. Flower blooming. Face. Face. Flower blooming. All sorts of things. Then the last one is Suchi. So Suchi is a pointer finger. Used to show lots of stuff. This, that, you, me, all that. Great. So we have, once again, Kataka, Shikara, Pataka, Alapadma, Suchi. So again, I'm showing it with both hands, but you can always just use one. You can use the other hand. You can use both. All those come. So now let's put some steps together with some hands, okay? So the first thing we want to practice together is keep your hands at chest. So practice going from Kataka to Alapadma. Kataka, Alapadma. Kataka, Alapadma. Kataka, Alapadma. Kataka, Alapadma. Now let's do one hand at a time. Kataka, Alapadma, right. Kataka. Kataka, Alapadma. Kataka. Kataka, Alapadma. Sorry, Alapadma, Kataka. Alapadma, Kataka. Alapadma, Kataka. Alapadma, Kataka. Alapadma, double, Kataka. Alapadma, Kataka. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands with our feet. So this is going to be a little bit tricky. So you're going to sit in Aramandi again, with your hands by your chest like this. And what you're going to do is when you stick out your right foot to do the Nakaravu, like this, you're going to flip your right hand to Alapadma. And when you stamp, it's going to come back to Kataka. Same thing on the left. Left leg out, flip the left hand, flip it back. Te, yung, tat, ta. Te, yung, ta, ta. Now let's make it a little bit more fun. Let's see if we can add a body bend to it. When you flip it out, see if you can bend towards your stretched leg and stand. Te, yung, tat, ta. Te, yung, ta, ha. All right, now you can do it without my help now. Just listen to the syllables, okay? Ready? Dalang, kutakati, kutakati, get ready. Te, yung, tat, ta. Te, yung, remember to sit? Ta, ha. Bend to the right. Te, yung, tat, ta. Te, yung, ta, ta. Good. So this is a very, very fundamental step, and it gets more complicated than this. When you actually learn formally, this is just a small little taste. We have about a little bit more than 5 minutes left now, so why don't we do a small little exercise which is not dance related. Grab a sip of water, and we're going to now explore a little bit of Abhinaya. Ready? Okay. So Abhinaya is not just facial expressions, it's the art of using dance in an expressive way. What do I mean by that? Abhinaya is used to bring alive characters, bring alive places, bring alive stories, and it's done through facial expressions, all that, twitching of the eyebrows, eyes, mouth even to an extent, hand gestures because they convey something, they tell something. I'm speaking to you right now. You better listen or you'll get a hurt. You'll listen. All that is through Abhinaya, right? So taking two of our hand gestures that we learned today, Pataka and Suchi, we're going to do a little bit of an exercise. So this exercise is what I call the U exercise because these hand gestures are used in many ways, and one of the most frequent ways it's used is to show you. So if you're by yourself, point to me on the screen. You, with patakasta, turned up like this and extend your arm. Don't make it so shy. You. Stretch your hands out. You. Switch hands if you want to. You. 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 You can do this standing, or you can do it sitting in a chair like me. You. 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 Just move. You. You. All right, so keep doing that for a bit. You. 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 Now play with it. So there are many ways to say you, right? You. 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 Play with that. Try that. You. 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 Keep playing with it. You. 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 Now, let's switch the hand gesture to this you. And see what happens. You. 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 What do you notice happening? So let's try standing up and moving. You. 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 Now let's switch between you and you. Watch what happens. You. 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 What do you notice happening right away? What happens to your body when you go from Pataka you to Suchi you? What happens? Any comments? Questions, comments? You? Okay, so to answer any questions that you may have, this you is a little bit more polite. We use it more as like a formal you. Like in Hindi, you will say like, you know, aap instead of tum. Aap, tum. Like a little bit more informal is you, and this is you. In Tamil, ninga, ni. Ninga, ni. We don't have that kind of formality in English, right? So another thing about Abhinay is that it relies a lot upon languages that have various ways of saying something that are not necessarily in English, like ninga, ninga versus ni, it's a little bit more forceful, right? So like that, the hand gestures are used in Bharatanatyam. So we just have 2 minutes left in class. So if there are any questions, please ask me on the laptop. And I understand about the lights. So Ruchi, yeah, I apologize that it's a little bit hard to see me from far away. So I hope that you're able to grasp at least something. Mudras in dance are what we just went over. So there's yoga hastas or mudras. So hasta and mudra mean the same thing. One is just from Prakrit, which is hasta, and one is from Sanskrit, which is mudra, but they both mean the same thing. So if I say a yoga hasta, it's like you know, things that are in yoga, like it appears in dance, but then our dance hand gestures may not appear in yoga. So they may be different, and there may be some that are overlapped, and of course, depending on the tradition, they all have different names. So for the sake of Bharatanatyam, we have like a list of specific names for specific hand gestures. So can you show the face expressions? What would you like me to do? My specialty is abhinayam, facial expression, so I like to use them. So as I said, you is like inviting you, questioning you is astonishment, you, and you probably won't use you when you're very angry unless it's like you're talking about a god and you're just irritated with them. But if you're going to say like you to like your friend, you, it's more pointed, right? But we don't vocalize you. Any other questions? Oh, thank you. I appreciate the comments. And of course, this is the first time I'm doing an Instagram or a Facebook or a social media class where I can't see students. So if you're able to follow, I really appreciate it. If you have any suggestions or feedback, I'd be more than willing to take any of those comments right now. So that's a little bit about Indian dance, Indian classical dance, Bharatanatyam in particular. Why don't we end class with our namaskaram? Okay, so let's come back. Let's come back Using Kataka Mukha Hasta, let's do our Namaskaram and end class. Ready? Dalang utakati utakatati kitatom. Right stab, left stab. Touch your shoulders with the thumbs down shikara. 1, 2. Bring it forward. Touch the ground with pataka hasta. Touch your eyes. Prayer. And give a bow. All right. Have a wonderful evening and thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions, you can always send us an email. My personal email with Nritya Creations is manager.nrityacreations@gmail.com. And Mina will also field any questions that you may have either through the website or through info@nrityacreations.com. So great question, Kirti. Oh, my pleasure. So beginners classes are going to be workshops. So it's not the whole summer. So it's just kind of, it'll be like maybe an hour once a week for a few weeks. We are still determining the final schedule, but in general, summer workshops run to about 8 to 10 hours. And because it's online versus in studio, because it's not safe or legal right now to have in-studio classes, we're going to probably keep our online classes still to an hour at most, and maybe once or twice a week. And I'll be for like 3 to 4 weeks. That's what we're looking at. And then we'll start again in the fall, most likely online at this point. And then if we have in-studio classes, we will shift to in-studio classes when we're able to. And thank you so much for the comments and for the feedback. There is a minimum age. Usually we don't admit students who are younger than 5. Ideally, they want to start kindergarten and then start dance class. A little bit younger than that becomes very difficult because it's not that they can't do it. It's just a lot of them don't have like the focusing skills at this point to be able to sit like this. If you've noticed, I didn't really use any like music too much except in the beginning. And while we're learning, we try to incorporate some music, but a lot of the class is not going to be like, oh, I just learned some steps, I'm going to put it to music. There's a lot of technique in there. So 5-year-olds, with my 5 and 6-year-olds that I teach at the moment, we do a lot of storytelling. We do, a lot of them like to make up steps. The step that you just saw, for example, my kids made up, and I'm just teaching it to you because it's their creation and I'm inspired by little kids. But yeah, so 5 is the minimum age. 4 is pushing it. I've taught 4-year-olds, but it's not easy. It's not easy for Bharatanatyam. A semi-classical or a Bollywood preschool class is more appropriate, which we do offer. But a Bharatanatyam for 4 and younger is just too young. Anything else? Which location? So we have 6 branches at the moment. All of them are closed because of COVID. But we have classes in Denville. We have classes in Denville, Parsippany area. The main studio is located in Marlborough and in Edison. We have branches in Cherry Hill, East Brunswick, East Windsor, West Windsor, and we're starting up a class hopefully in East Brunswick pretty soon. That is basically the 6 different branches. Am I missing anything, Mina? I don't think so. Online classes are done through WebEx, and so we have our students download the app to their laptop versus the cell phone because the bandwidth and all that is poor and the quality of the video is poor online. So generally speaking, I'm usually much closer like this in class, especially since my students are, they've been with me for a little while now, so they're revising old lessons. So I will try and make sure that, I'm pretty close to the camera like this. Any other questions? All right, take care. It was a pleasure. And yeah, check us out at www.nrityacreations.com. And we will be announcing our summer workshop schedule shortly. And fall classes will follow when the academic year begins. And we follow the academic school year from September, right after Labor Day, until the end of June when we have our final recital, under normal circumstances. Thank you. I'm going to end the live video now. And if you have any further questions, you know, you can email, you can send us a Facebook message while you're on here. All that can be done. So take care.